Hello everyone, my name is Sam Herzog and I have done network engineering for 12 years. I currently hold a CCNP Enterprise and I'm also studying for my CCIE. This short video are done to help me reinforce, prepare for my CCIE by, of course, forcing me to revisit old and new network principles, but also to share my knowledge with the network community. So, without wasting any more time, let's get started. This video series are going to cover Dhcp snooping and dynamic ARP inspection. We'll do some initial configuration and implementation, run some debug and packet capture. Thank you for watching. I've got a little lab here, and this lab is on Cisco Modeling Lab. You could use GNS3 or even G, but my preferred simulation, my preferred lab simulator is Cisco Modeling Lab. I've been using it for about 3 years. Anyways, in this lab we have two switches. We have an external connection to my network. We have two machines, Joey and Chloe. Switch 1 is connected onto switch 2 on port 2 and 3, so we'll do a port channel, and on 0, to my external connection. I am using the breakout tool, which is obviously a functionality, a tool provided through Cisco Modeling Lab, which allows me to connect to these 4 devices through a built-in through an API. So in this case, this will be my switch 1, and this has all been prepared for this lab. Okay, so first let's name it properly, switch 1. So I wish I could clear screen, but I can't. And then we'll do the same thing for switch 2. We'll call it switch 2. Alright. On switch 1, we'll set our DHCP services. And on switch 2, we'll have snooping. So we could go over the different purpose and functionality and the workaround of DHCP snooping. So first we need an IP to an external network. Okay, so, and that would be because I like to save my DHCP snooping database onto an FTP server. Okay, these virtual appliances will not save snooping database, or I haven't gotten to work locally on these virtual appliances, so we'll do it on the FTP server that I've set up on my machine. So we'll call this external IP address DHCP, no switch port, obviously. IP address DHCP, right? No shot. I always no shot, right? Because we never know. Ports routed ports sometimes are shut down by default there. So we've gotten an IP, and this IP is 037. Perfect, with a net mask of /24. So we can verify that here. It's up and up. Right, now we need to create a VLAN 10 for users, right? We're going to name this a user. That's the user VLAN. And also we need to do a create an SVI dedicated to this, to route between the VLAN user, the user in that VLAN, and the outside. So we're going to give it an IP on the 200 network. we'll give it a slash 29 since we've only got and no shot, of course, since we only have 2 machines. And we'll build a DHCP server, so we'll do we'll exclude that address right first before we build it, because we don't want the gateway IP to be offered to a device, right? It could create a duplicate IP on the network, and that could be an issue. We'll create a pool, we'll call it user, and we have to define our network in this pool, right? And give it a default gateway IP. Well, since I'm not going outside, I will just so I'm not really going outside. So what I'll do is I'll just use this to be I'll just configure gateway, no DNS, no domain name, and all that stuff, okay, or lease. So we'll keep it at that. So I believe my VLAN 10 should still be down. Let me see. Yes, it's down and down, and the reason behind that is that I don't have any port or any interesting traffic associated to this SVI as of now. But I suspect it to come up as soon as we have a working port channel, and VLAN 10 is forwarded on that port channel, right? So let's do this. So no, first, actually, yeah, let's do that. So we know that 2 and 3 are connected to switch 2, so we'll do a range, right? 2 and 3, and we'll give it a description, link to switch 2. Descriptions are very important. So we'll call that, and we'll make it a lag, keep it mode active, right? So PO10 description, we'll make it link also to switch 2, right? Switch port trunk, and got that. Okay, switch port mode trunk. Excuse me. And then we'll do switch port trunk allow VLAN except 1, because we don't want 1 to go through this VLAN, right? We'll do a native VLAN also, trunk native VLAN 100. What about we do that, right? So what we'll do is we'll create a VLAN 100 name native, right? So right now, as of now, my port channel should be down. Obviously it's down because it's completely, there's no match on the other side. On switch 2 we need to configure the same thing. We'll configure same parameter for that port channel. So we'll do the same thing quickly, 3, and then we'll give it a description also, okay? We'll call it link to switch 2, so switch 1, just to keep it switch 1, sorry, and then a channel group 10 mode active, right? No shut, and then we'll do, oops, of course, spanning tree, because we have not defined the same parameter or the same native parameters. So description, this is link to switch 1, and then switch port trunk encapsulation that 1Q, switch port mode trunk, and then switch port trunk native VLAN 100, and then of course we have to have VLAN except 1, right? So, and we'll do a no shot, right? Okay, and obviously we gotta create a VLAN 10, and we gotta name it user, and we gotta create a VLAN 100, and actually it's been created, but maybe not. There we go, it's been restored, because, well, obviously VLAN 100 was created when we've actually configured a native VLAN on port channel 10 of VLAN 100. Okay, so let's see if it is passing some traffic. So it's not forwarding yet, but it will. It takes some time before it starts forwarding. Let me see if port channel 10 on switch one is forwarding. Yes, it is. So I assume that it's forwarding on here too. Okay, awesome. All right, now everything is up and up. We need to configure Dhcp Snooping and also our user ports. So I know, and I can demonstrate that right now on switch 2. Let's have switch 2 up here. So on switch 2, Chloe is connected to 1 and Joey is connected to 0, right? So we'll configure Joey first. We'll just say this is Joe E mode access switch port access VLAN 10 no shut spanning tree port fast important, right? And then we'll do Chloe switch port mode access switch port access VLAN 10, right? Spanning tree port fast. Hopefully it takes, yeah, it did, no shut, right? So they both should get a DHCP IP. Why don't we check that? They should both have a DHCP address that they've requested and they've received. So I do show IP address, yeah, DHCP binding. Let me see if we got, no, it doesn't look like we've received anything. Show IP DHCP binding, and why is that? Let's look at our DHCP server. Show run interface VLAN 10. Oops. Okay. Let's power cycle Joey and Chloe and see what happens. Let's force them to both obtain a DHCP address. Let me see. Let's move this here and let's move this here. Right. I want to have this window. Okay. There we go. Let's see. So they're back up in the first 10 seconds. They should be. There we go. So both of them have received an IP 2 and 3. We can verify. 2 and 3. And also, I have 2 windows open just for Joey and oops, and Chloe. So let's log on to this. So sudo host. Well, I don't know which one is which. Let's check. So for a fact, I know 9544 is Chloe. We can check that here. No, this is Joey. So let's name it host name Joey, right? If config if 0, you can see it's got an IP of 203, and then let's do the same for Chloe. Sudo hostname Chloe. Oops, CHU. There we go. And then, oops, well, great. That didn't work. There we go. If config F0, she's 9544, and then her IP is 2. Perfect. Now, why don't we enable DHCP snooping, right? And see what happens. Okay. IP DHCP snooping. This is how you enable snooping globally. Let's have snooping listen on our user VLAN 10. And let's see what happens with Joey and Chloe as far as can they still reach the DHCP service. So as of now, they could. Let me see if I can still ping it. I could, because they already have an address assigned. But if I was to power cycle Joey and Chloe, and let me see if I can reload from here. No, restart from here. No. Well, we'll just power it off, right? Simple. We'll power it off. and see what happens with Joey and Chloe, right? Let's see what happens. I suspect that they won't be able to reach the DHCP server. Reason behind that is that when you go on DHCP Snooping here, again, you see it's enabled globally, and then on VLAN 10, and this is very important. Trust and obviously rate is how many packets per second you're allowing on that specific port. For trusted port, it would be unlimited, right? But here we don't have any trusted port, and the way DHCP Snooping works is that it allows the it will block DHCP offer from a DHCP server. Why? Because that's what it's designed to do, unless the interface is trusted. So let's log on to, and if you get on here and you try to look at your binding and try ping, what about we do a ping? There's no ping. The binding is still there because the lease is still, the database is still there, but what about IP DHCP bindings? And let's see, oops, let's do a star, right? And show IP DHCP bindings. Now let's do a few things. Debug IP DHCP server packets, right? And IP DHCP, oh, oops, and events. We want events also, right? And on switch 2, let's do debug IP DHCP Snooping. Oops, packets and events, right? We'll go down here. Oops, oh boy, we're stuck. Contino IP domain lookup. Before I do the same thing here, it is basically, so first of all, the port is untrusted, so it is not going, it's gonna be blocking every offer coming back from the DHCP server. It's still translating. Let me see if I can get out of this. Well, that's gonna be tough while this is happening. Okay, perfect. Alright, hold on one second. Let's wait for this. I'm gonna unall this debug because I need to enter another command quickly. On all, come on, I'm being flooded. There we go. So show debug. Let me see what I have for debugs. Okay, debug IP DHCP Snooping packets and event. So option 82 is an option that is sent in the relay information from locally from a switch when relaying that information to a DHCP server. Now you can see, let me do on all here so we can read through this debug. So the discover is allowed true and true, right? But let's look at, this is when he starts adding the relay information into the to send to the DHCP server. Back entry FFF package flooded to ingress VLAN. So obviously bridge packet output port set is null, packet is dropped. It's not a trusted interface, right? So you see the attempt of Joey to send another discover message. He does add the option 82 and he gets all the way up to let me see, and the packet is dropped, right? Because it's not the uplink to switch to isn't trusted, right? It is not receiving any option. It is black holed option. It is not sorry, it is not relaying the information. It's not receiving any offer. back from the DHCP server, so the packet is black hole. And there's both of them will still try to reach back to the DHCP server, and it will fail. And you can see the DHCP. Let me see, show debug, see if he receives anything. He's not even received any attempts for any packet being sent. He's not receiving any relay information here for discover, nor able to respond to them. So what we'll do is we're going to trust so we'll do trunk, obviously it's port channel 10, and then IP DHCP snooping trust. We'll trust him. Implicitly, you'll start saying switch 1 will start receiving some discover message, right? Also, let's see what's our snooping information look like. Actually, our global snooping. So you see that 2 and 3 have inherited the trust because they're members of port channel 10, right? And you can see that the rate limit is unlimited. Well, now we have another problem, and the problem is that there is an inconsistent relay. There are inconsistent relay information, right? It's saying that this gateway information is 0 within that relay information. So that is wrong. Point of view of a DHCP server, that's bad, right? He's got to have a gateway to relay back or talk back through a gateway to these devices, right? He needs to relay information back to those endpoints, right? But every relay information packet, any relay information received has a gateway address of 0, right? You could you will see this also on here. I think that would work. Let's do that, and let's see what happens if we get. There we go, and you'll see that on here as soon as it's done moving up. So you see that here. So what we'll do is on all. So it's gonna run the debug, and obviously it's gonna on all. There we go. Let's go back up here, or not even further than that. You see, in the option 82, you are inserting all this information to include, and that's within the discover, the initial DHCP discover, right? It's inserting all that information, including a quad 0, into the relay information packet, right? And that is destined to the DHCP server. DHCP server won't be able to interpret what this is, right? Because the DHCP server, the DHCP pool has a gateway or default router of 200.1. Quad 0 isn't it, right? So there's two ways to fix this. One way is to trust port to trust these ports 00 and 01, and the other way is to not include information, I mean option 82, into the packet, right? So, and that's what we'll do. No IP DHCP snooping information option, right? We don't want to provide that extra information, which is a quad 0. There we go. And what's going to happen is obviously the DHCP server is going to start responding to the endpoints that are requesting for an IP, right? Reason being, now there's no more quad 0 gateway on the or any information option 82 in the relay packet, right? Received on the DHCP server, and you can see that on here that, hey, you know what, I'm receiving, this is the hardware address of Joey, and he knows exactly where to send back the offer through VLAN 10, right? VLAN 10 is obviously 192.168.200.1, correct? So, and that can be confirmed on here. Let me see. On all, show run interface VLAN 10. There we go, 200.1. So, right? So now, if you look at the DHCP binding, you should have a binding, and both Chloe and Joey are reachable, right? Alright. And also, most importantly, and this is why DHCP snooping is, oops, is it a 0? No, it's 1. Is important is that you can do this limit, right? Packet to, let me see if I rate, and let's do 10 packet per second. Let's say someone gets a Kali server running on their laptop, and they're running some tools that is able to mimic a DHCP or be a DHCP service, and they try to send you more than 10 packets a second. These two ports will get error disabled because the DHCP snooping we detect this as an attack, and it is. We told it, hey, we only want a rate of 10 packets per second, and you can see this reflected in the DHCP global configuration, snooping global configuration. You see, for the untrusted port, we see 10 and 10 packets per second. Okay, now one more thing, a database. What's nice with, you have to have a database. The reason behind that is ARP inspection, which works hand to hand with snooping, will need a database to match ARP request and ARP reply to this database in order to further secure and prevent any MAC spoofing and such. So, or ARP poisoning, right? So what we'll do is, we're gonna say, hey, we want, so first I need to create FTP credentials, so IP FTP, and this is how you do it, right? We'll tell it my username is Cisco, IP FTP password is Cisco. Okay, now I have to get on my local FTP server, right, and then create a user, right, add a user, right, we'll call it Cisco. It will be in no groups, and then we'll do a password Cisco, right, and then we have to have a folder, right, and we'll pick a folder. There we go. We'll pick this folder and we'll give it right. If you don't do that, you'll have some permission issues. There we go. And now we have set switch 2 and a password for switch 1. We need to do something else. Let me log on to my local switch, because I've got to make sure that I do have a route back to it's called home switch 2. Pretty simple, right? I have multiple ones on my network. So what we'll do is let's check the routes, and this is a closed environment, so I do have a route back, but it is not no, this is 172. I need a route back. So what we'll do is we'll create a route back to the 200 range, and then next hop will be VLAN 2, and then that's it, right? And on switch 2 we have to have a default gateway. Oops. Default gateway, because it isn't routing, right? So the default gateway would be 200.1. Of course it is, right? And then let's see if I can get to 200.1. Yes, I can. Let's see if I can get to 3, 4, and 5. Those are my PCs. And 5. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna write that. All right. And then on switch 2, let me see if I can ping 012. That's my well, it's saying you can't because obviously if I remove all the unassigned, I don't have any interface to do any business on this network. So what I'll do is I'll create a VLAN 10 and SVI, and we'll call source, because MGM management, what about that, MGT, and I'll give it an IP of 200.2, right, and we'll say no shot, and then let's verify that it's up and up, right? I'll pick first, I'll do step by step. Usually I ping first my gateway and make sure I can get to it. It's one way to do this, and then next I'm going to ping my outbound interface, which is reside on switch 1, and that's going to be your 00. Well, I'm not getting there, so there's gotta be okay, and I know why. No IP routing, right? Because by default those virtual, I've played enough with them that that could be a possibility. There we go, it pinged. And then let's see if I can get to 200.4, actually 0.12, and that's my FTP server. All this needs to work for me to get to do my set my database and download or upload my database to my FTP server, right? So IP Dhcp Snooping database, we're gonna do FTP, right? And then it may be no, there we go, and then I'll put my FTP server right now. Transfer file number Y. This is unexpected. Let me see on my database if I'm getting anything. No, I don't. It's not reaching out. This is not. Let's do DIR. Let me see. This is another issue that needs to be troubleshooted. DIR. Let's see. Flash 0. Let me see. Boot. Dir boot. Do DIR boot. Trying to figure out why this isn't working. Somebody transfer if unable to access URL. That's yours. No. Why? Show run section IP Dhcp Snooping. Let me see what I've got again. Let me see if I do have it right. I'm not even making it. Let me see something. Yeah, I do have read on right. It's not making it to the DHCP. Don't see IP Dhcp Snooping database FTP 192.168.12. Let me see. Do show run section IP Dhcp Snooping. Okay, I'll troubleshoot this in another video. There may be an issue with it. Could be so let me test something before we go for end this video. Why don't I, let me see, copy flash Let me see if I can get to it. I just want to determine if the issue is local or it is the virtual appliance, or my access, or something wrong with my FTP server, or connection between the FTP server. And say yes. Cannot permit operation in a directory. Oh, it's a directory. Okay, got it. Let's look for, what about this file right here? Let me send this image. That may also be a directory. It might be. Oh no, it did. It's sending it, so it is operational. So it may be something wrong with the snooping. Unable to access URL.bios. Oh. Oh, that is something else. So it is obviously so there we go. I may have received this message. So you see that it's already transferring this file to my FTP server, but it seems that it's failing when it comes. Let me interrupt this. I don't want to do that. See if I can interrupt this. There we go. It seems that it isn't. Something is wrong with access URL. Yeah, it could be something wrong with the agent, the database, the snooping database agent. I don't know why it is unable to execute this transaction, but it's failing, and that's something that I may have to troubleshoot later on. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. I hope this would help you, or and I hope it was instructional. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.